Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Gary Steele, the creator of the Healing Hearts Formula. Over the last decade, I've noticed a common theme or a common thread to the people who either purchase my courses or they end up at my live events, my live experience workshops. And that common theme is they've shown up there because a friend or a family member or someone along those lines has told them, look, you just have to go. Just trust me and go. The reason that is because they've tried everything else. They've tried church, they've tried therapy, they've tried counseling, they've tried coaching. I've had people in my events that have tried just about everything you could imagine to get rid of their pain and agony over their broken heart. Again, from either a death, a divorce, physical, mental, spiritual abuse, financial devastation, or a big financial letdown. They've tried everything they could think of and nothing has worked so far for them. And they end up either on one of my live calls or at one of my live events, and guess what? They get results. They heal their wounded heart. They fix their broken heart. A few years back, probably about 7-8 years ago, I was doing a 3-day workshop in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It was a financial workshop. It was financial transformation. It was about money, wealth, success. And it was the third day. And on the third day, we focus on your mission, your vision, your inspiration, and your purpose, and how that links to money, wealth, and finances, and how it is actually the driving force and fuel for people to begin to master their financial world. It was the third day, and I was speaking for the whole day, and the seminar was wrapping up in the evenings around 5 or 6 o'clock at night, and people, after it was over, what usually happens, people want to hang out, they want to ask me questions, maybe something they were too afraid to ask in public in front of everybody, so they wanted some private time, whatever, so they'll kind of wait in line. And 4 or 5 people deep in this line, there was a lady, and I was just talking to people as they were coming up and winding down the seminar, and she came up to me and she touched me on the arm, just touched me, and I looked at her, and there was like this electrical shock between the two of us. It was really strange. First time I've ever experienced anything like that. I was like, whoa, we've got something to talk about or some work to do. As I was talking to her, she's like, yes, I know. And I said, just go have a seat. Let's wind this down. As soon as everybody's done here, let's talk. Let's just have a chat and see what's going on. She said, okay. So she went back and sat down, and a couple minutes passed, 15, 20 minutes as people were done. She was starting to, people were starting to leave, and she was still sitting there. So I went up and started talking to her. I said, so what's going on? And with tears, a tear in her eyes, she's like, my husband died about 18 months ago. And I was like, okay. And she's like, the insurance settlement was around $750,000, somewhere in that range. I don't remember the exact number, but it was somewhere around that range. And she's like, I didn't need any financial information. She's like, I'm fine there. I've got a great financial planner. I've got a long-term strategy. Everything's okay with that. That wasn't a problem. But she said, a friend of mine told me, just go to this seminar. It was a financial seminar. She said, it doesn't matter. And inside her spirit, her inner voice told her, you need to go. So I said, all right, great. Let's go find a more comfortable place to sit. So we found a quiet corner tucked away at the conference center in the hotel that we were having this event at, and we just started talking. So I started to bring her through the transformation process, transformation formula, relative to her husband dying. So I walked her through the steps where we go through and we find, okay, energy and matter can either be created or destroyed, the first law of thermodynamics. We talked about that earlier in the day some and how that relates to finances, or the whole weekend. And so I was like, okay, energy and matter can either be created or destroyed. It can only change form no matter what area of life that is, no matter what it is that you're working on. That is a universal law. As far as I know, in terms of our existence on this planet, it has yet to fail to prove itself right. So I was like, your husband's just simply changed forms. I said, I realize his physical form is gone. I understand that. I've worked with a lot of people who've gone through the loss of a loved one. I said, I understand that. What we need to understand is it's your feelings, your emotions. What is it that you think you're missing since he died? That is what's going to change form and show up in other people around you. So we started to make a list. She started to list off what she felt was missing since her husband passed. And for each one, we went and we found, okay, where's the new form of this? Again, remember, it's a feeling. It's inside. It's our emotions. We're emotional beings. Our emotions are what drive our life. So what is it you think you're missing? And then I'll be like, okay, where has that shown up now? Where is it still in your life? Because energy and matter can be created or destroyed. It can only change form. Where is the new form, the different form of this showing up in your life? And so we would list enough. It takes sometimes 5, 10, 15, 20 different forms to find where the one form of her husband was now showing up in her life. We went down the list and we found them all. We realized to where she was like, wow, it's not missing. Nothing's missing. I see that. I see it and I can feel it in my heart. And when I'm working with people, my sense, again, our inner voice that we all have, I can just tell when things are complete and when they're not, and I could just still feel this pain in her. I was like, what still hurts? What still hurts? And she's like, I don't know. And I was like, well, it's about the money. What's going on with the money? What is it with this money? She's like, tears of sadness, not tears of love. They're different. Tears of sadness. She's like, I just feel guilty about this money. I feel tremendously guilty that my husband passed away and now I have this money and I feel guilty about that. Their lifestyle was about $100,000 a year lifestyle, and now all of a sudden she's got this large amount of money. So I referenced her back to the wave of life, positive peak, negative trough, everything's perfectly balanced no matter what. And when you're feeling guilty, you believe that you're creating more pain than pleasure in a past event. So she was feeling guilty to her husband about her feelings about this money. So I went to work, or her and I, we went to work and we found the other side of this. So she was able to balance that to the center, come to the center, and then her heart just started to open up tremendously. And tears of love started to stream down her face. And she just literally went, this breath just went, and her head was down. And she was crying. And she said, wow, that is the first time I've been able to breathe since my husband died. And this was like 18 months. It was somewhere around 18 months. I don't remember exactly, but 18 months. And she just sat there and cried. Tears of love, gratitude, and appreciation for her life, for her husband's life, and realized that everything is perfect just the way that it is. And she realized that nothing's missing in her life. Her husband was present in her life, just in a different form. And she set herself free from the pain and the anguish and the agony and the guilt over her husband dying. Put him in her heart and was free. Mended her broken heart in a matter of, it took us about 25 minutes. So I've been, over the years, been able to create a relationship with my stepmom. You know my story. My stepmother absolutely resented me as I was growing up. I've created such a great relationship with her over the years now that she calls me when things aren't exactly right with her life, when she knows she's kind of seeing a lopsided perception and not seeing both sides. She'll call me up and we'll kind of go to work on it. And just a few months ago, she called me and we were having a conversation and we were talking about her dad, which was my grandfather. He came into my life early enough, I perceived him as a grandfather. And he was a rough, crass, callous guy. Just a really hard guy. Didn't show his love a lot in the way that most people would think that it should be. So in that moment, I kind of realized in that moment as well that, oh my God, I'd already done tons of work with my mother inside myself from my stepmother, and I realized it's not her fault the way that she treated me, the way that she raised me. It was simply a reflection of how she was raised. She was raised never feeling loved from her father the way that she would think that it should be. So we had this conversation, and I talked to her. I was like, Mom, nothing's missing. Everything's present. The first law of thermodynamics, energy and matter can either be created or destroyed. It's only going to change form. So how that relates to love is people are only going to be able to show you how they love you according to what's important to them, their form of love. So we went to work and we said, how did he show you his love? And she started listing things off, and we listed them and found them, and before you know it, she had a tear of love in her eye for her father, realizing that he had loved her entire life. He just did it her way. My grandfather, her father, had passed away now, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, somewhere in that range. And my mother's 70 years old now, and here she's 70 years old, mending a broken heart from way back when in her childhood, not feeling loved by her father. Any and all wounds that you may be carrying with you of a broken heart are, I'm going to say, fixable by going to work and finding what it is that you think was missing, finding where it is now in your life, right now. In the box below, there's a comment, a question. You can ask me any question. As I said before, I'll be more than happy to answer any question I can. I love answering questions. I love helping people heal their hearts. That's what I do. I actually help people open their heart through the transformation formula, and how that then transpires into the rest of their life is quite amazing. Once you open your heart, the power that's in there is amazing. I look forward to seeing you on either a live call or at a live event or a live experience. I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.